Welcome to a special edition of the Salesforce Spotlight podcast recorded at Agentforce World Tour Zurich. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Roberto Galdo, Chief Performance Officer at Merkle, where he leads customer success strategy and helps our organization achieve measurable business outcomes and maximize the value of AI and digital transformation. So today, together, we will explore one of the most exciting topics shaping the future of business, Agentic AI. We will discuss how AI is transforming the relationship between technology and people, what it means for customer success, and how organizations can create trust and value while embracing this new era of autonomous agents. Hi, Roberto.
Hey, Vanessa.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, and thank you for having me here.
Can you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Of course. Myself, I'm Roberto Galdo. I'm Merkle Chief Performance Officer, proud father and husband, and technology enthusiast.
So everyone is talking about AI, and today here we talked about Agentic AI. So how do you define it, and why do you believe we are at such a pivotal moment for businesses?
Thank you for the question. Actually, this is a question that is close to my heart, as it's at the center of our business. I think we are looking at mainly three steps. We went from AI being an assistant to AI being a digital worker to AI being an operating layer in every organization. Agentic AI now is the next step. Before you would use generative AI to answer questions and generate text, images, and confront, and essentially being an accelerator for thinking processes. Today, an agent AI is fit for purpose to achieve goals for a human that uses it. And for business, this is a pivotal moment because as every moment in the technology evolution, the agent AI is a tool. And this tool needs to be used and leveraged by enterprises to be more relevant, more future-proof, more human-centric, more customer-centric.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. As a Chief Performance Officer, as you said before, you are responsible for customer success and measurable outcomes. Where are you seeing organization move beyond AI pilots and into real value creation?
Listen, I think that's also a very relevant question. Agent AI evolution is accelerating the way every business process and every job is performed today, where companies are currently doing experimentation and they are just jumping on the train for fear of missing out or to just have vanity KPI checkboxes. I think more mature organizations instead are looking into using agent AI to answer the right questions. They're not asking themselves anymore, can AI do it? They're asking themselves more, where does AI have a measurable impact on my business? And that's where performance is driven also by those type of tools, because into that dimension, that shift in mindset is required to consider AI and agentic AI as a tool to improve business performances.
And this brings me actually to the next question. What separates then the companies that are succeeding from those that are still stuck in experimentation, like you said before?
Yeah, that's in the way they define their leadership and their governance around how to use those tools. I am discussing with a lot of clients that are feeling the urge to provide all employees with agent AI tools or tokens or means to learn and be literate about it. But the reality is that on top of this endeavor, and by the way, they're empowering the entire value chain of the employee base, not only the one that would naturally use agent AI in their day-to-day job, but everyone. In that process, they need to define a true agent AI manifesto, define the boundaries of what they're trying to achieve, gain a certain level of discipline in experimentation, and define also what type of outcome they want to go for before actually trying the experiment phase. The experiment doesn't become an experiment anymore. It's the agent AI is just a tool. It's like saying there's the birth of this service, this software, the birth of internet is the same. But the agent AI tool, because it accelerates very fast, needs to be actually funneled throughout a very clear, measurable business objective. Would that be client retention or marketing effectiveness or operation effectiveness.
And Salesforce talks about the future of digital labor with Agentforce. How do you see AI agents working then alongside humans rather than replacing them?
Agent AI will never replace human in a way it's truly like the birth of internet. We would have never said internet will replace a human being. It's the same for agent AI. True core values will actually arise in importance because you would have accountability, empathy, creativity and judgment as core values higher than before. Business savviness and process savviness also being extremely important. And different sets of hard skills that are more repetitive day-to-day tasks we are used to today becomes less relevant into the future. So how I see things, it's the following. Talent will arise with this accelerated tool. And people that are actually able to challenge themselves on a day-to-day basis, which is already the case, will actually thrive in this environment, while some others will have a wake-up call because they will need to learn and understand a more diversified set of skills to be relevant in the future.
Do we need to train people to have new skills? So like curiosity and the appetite to learn and this type of thing?
Oh yes, we need to. First of all, we need to encourage people to be brave. We need to encourage leaders to be curious. And we also need to bring a certain level of discipline in this iterative approach because, in fact, the difference from before is you would reskill a person. It would take weeks or months to get to a certain level of skill able to have an impact in a business or in a customer business. Today, the cycle is faster. So here is a matter of curiosity, focus, but also a little bit of entrepreneurship in the way we place our bets. Obviously, in a corporate world, that translates into I'm a person in the marketing department. I'm not concerned about my processes, my day-to-day task. I would be more focused on the final outcome. So if I'm in the content publishing chain, I'm more concerned about what the client at the end wants to see, and then I backtrack what I effectively need to accelerate with the agent AI sitting by my side, rather than the other way around, trying to experiment what the tool can do and then having an outcome that you measure at the end.
Mm-hmm. And then finding people that adapt, right? So
exactly.
Yeah, it makes sense. And technology evolves very quickly. But people often need more time to adapt. That's what we are saying. So what leadership capabilities will organizations need to help employees thrive in the age of agentic AI?
Listen, I think that is the core of the challenge today. Leaders are the first one that needs to recognize that the world is effectively changing in that direction. And I think there are two dimensions here. The first one is humbleness. We need to be humble enough, all of us, we need to be humble enough to recognize we don't have all the answer. And we need to transform anxiety into focus for the future. And we also need to admit that the certain level of uncertainty comes from the fact that it has nothing to do with technology. Technology has always been evolving very fast. The problem today is that technology is evolving fast in a direction where it brings uncertainty for the future, the stability of people's future work. But you can shift it the other way around. It is going to open so many new opportunities we don't know about today that will open a career path we don't know about today. So a leader needs to become the person that help transitioning from the innovation to actual in day-to-day action, and needs also to be, as you said, you were hinting it before, the leader needs to stay curious, he needs to stay disciplined, because experimental discipline is part of this story, obviously, and it needs to ensure that people also focus on the aspect of agent AI that revolves around proper governance, data governance, human insight, and constant monitoring and check and review of whatever AI-powered outcome comes out of it.
And I think we have also, we have not only people super exciting about this era. And what advice would you give to those leaders who are concerned about resistance, trust, of fears around AI and their people, obviously?
We need to embrace the fear. Those leaders need to embrace the fear, recognize it, and transformed, as I said before, that anxiety into the opportunity of defining new career path that does not exist today, but also recognizing that talent won't change, and the need of that talent, the need of that human oversight, intuition, creativity, entrepreneurship is going to rise, not diminish. And in this ecosystem, a leader needs to be brave enough to recognize that the fear exists because it's everywhere. Everybody talks about it, but it needs to be funneled into from anxiety into learning energy. And something I didn't say before, but it's very important to me: the stereotype of the ambitious, performance-driven, future-looking leader, for me, is a little bit vintage in this world, because now leader feats that are more important are wisdom, resilience, attention to empathy, and being a little bit curious and brave in being an entrepreneur, without overlooking whatever investment can be done, given the fact that technology evolves so fast. But we don't. So we remain attached to our core values, that is being like defending moral high ground, defending authenticity, defending creativity. So that is also the new customer value.
Mm-hmm. And you said so many powerful things, right? It's about trust, reskilling, culture, leadership. And if you see our small generation, right? Our kids, I mean, that's the same, right? Our kids is studying today to a job that doesn't exist. Still doesn't exist. If you realize that our children is going to be somewhere or doing something that today doesn't exist, you cannot say to them, wait, we will figure it out when it's here, what we are doing and where you should go, right? So we are empower them to become curious, to become resilient, to embrace the change and so on, to be able to be adaptive to whatever is coming in the new world of work.
Yeah, listen, I'm the proud father of 2 kids as well, and I think that is a very big question mark. But it's also quite exciting. The way I'm addressing it family-wise, and the same applies for whomever asked me to be mentored in this AI-powered world, is the following. You should embrace the concept of having adaptability as one of the biggest future strength for anyone. It's another buzzword I didn't use, but adaptability is actually at the core of whoever today. Whether you are a person in the corporate space, or you're an entrepreneur, or you're a freelancer, or you're a single person company startup, it doesn't change it much. You need to be adaptable to the world. And teaching it to kids is simpler, because kids by nature are adaptable.
Mm-hmm. And curious.
And curious. On the other hand, we need to teach them how to stay focused also on core values. So if at the same time I'm teaching my daughter how to use Codex or Claude to build a video game where she can dress her dolls, which, by the way, she does. At the same time, I'm doing an aquarelle course and we're painting together, and then we're studying piano together. So we keep the right balancing act between staying authentic on something that is set in the core of our roots, while also observing how the world evolves in a certain direction and being acquainted with those tools that, by the way, by the time you and I talk about this and publish this chat, in 3 months is going to be deprecated, because it's going to be so much evolved compared to now that we don't know, right?
Don't say that.
Well,
this podcast is a very nice one, and many people, thousands of people are listening to it.
Of course, but they will also, like the inspirational message needs to be, while you try yourself and you teach yourself how to be that adaptable person, you also need to be resilient to the change in the positive way.
Yeah, of course, and you are leading by example at home, but also in the business. And talking about customer expectation, because customer expectations are also changing, how will customer success look different in a agentic AI world?
Yeah, that's a very good question. First of all, and I didn't say it before, but there are areas where agent AI will determine good business outcome immediately, such as marketing automation, personalization at scale, smoother, more effective operation, cost-effective operation, more insightful sales processes. All of those areas are currently effectively done by corporate in the tech space and non-tech space. On the other end, the customer need and customer success won't really change. Actually, it won't change at all. The name of the game will stay the same. Being market relevant and having a target audience won't change because of AI. What will change is the how we get there, how fast we get there. Hence, from a corporate strategy perspective, what changes is how ambitious we are in terms of adapting our objectives, achieving them, and passing to the next step.
Mm-hmm. And do you believe that we will measure success differently from 5 years from now?
No, I don't. That I'm sure we will not. However, we will have a more quick turnaround of measurable objective. I have the feeling that also the normal corporate cycle of measuring fiscal year objectives is going to be also vintage story in a few years, because financial cycle will be measurable in a faster manner as new corporate strategy or go-to-market, product go-to-market, content supply chain, everything will be executable in a faster way. Hence, financial results will be measurable faster. And this is only the corporate world. You would have the same in NGOs, and you have the same in content creativity. It's everywhere. So basically, the answer is no. It won't change, but it will change how quick we measure its success.
And last question. What do you recommend to all these leaders and companies doing next in regards to agentic AI and their future scope?
First, I would suggest every leader to try it herself or himself to the maximum extent on every tool, with everything that is possible out there. Because every person with a certain level of literature and knowledge needs to make her or his own opinion about the tool and how fast it evolves. Second, needs to translate whatever it's learned and the literature, how literate they become, into their own corporate reality and set the boundaries of where they want to actually implement that in their organization. Those boundaries are not necessarily only security or privacy or data boundaries, are also means, objectives, and goal boundaries, stating I want to achieve those set of objectives in this part of my value chain with all those employee base following my own Agent AI manifesto. Being humble enough to admit that that Agent AI manifesto might evolve in time, might even teach itself, because that's the way it works, but setting it very clearly and then coaching the people to achieve that. Because in fact, everyone that is feeling that sense of missing out, they are trying on their own and they are thinking they can now build the rocket to the moon, which is also potentially true, but the reality is that they should rather focus on how Agent AI powered day-to-day work can make them more efficient in a very focused space, and that focused space is defined by, in the corporate world, by those leaders defining this Agent AI manifesto that really needs to have a business touch, not a technology touch.
Roberto, thank you so much for being here with me today at World Tour Zurich.
Thank you.
One thing is clear, agentic AI isn't just about technology. It's about empowering people, redefining customer success, and creating entirely new ways of working. Thank you for listening to the Salesforce Spotlight podcast. Stay tuned for more conversation with leaders who are shaping the future of business with AI. Bye-bye.